Welcome to the third episode of Video Editing Crash Training on Premiere Pro. Let's roll the intro. Once again, you're welcome to episode 3. In this episode, we'll be diving into effects and transitions. We will also be introducing text and titles. Without any further ado, let's dive into Premiere Pro. We are back where we left off in our previous lesson. Like I said, today we'll be diving into effects and transitions. We'll be changing Premiere Pro's interface to effects interface. In case you're confused about what I'm saying, there'll be a card that'll pop up here. You can click that to watch episode 1. Full details on Adobe Premiere Pro interface can be found in episode 1. Alright, let's dive in. Before we go into the effects interface, let's look at effects here. Remember I told you this is our input group, and anything we'll be making use of in Premiere Pro must be found in our input group. In our previous class, episode 2, we touched on projects panel, which is in our input group here. We got to realize that every sequence and every media file we make use of must be found within the project panel. Today we are going into effects panel, where any effect you want to make use of must be found within your effect panel here. Now, as you can see, we have presets, lumetric presets, audio effects, audio transitions, video effects, and video transitions. The reason why we have to change to our effects interface is because when you just open like our video effects, if you just open this, you realize that we have quite a number of effect bins here. If you go into adjust, you'll see that we still have more. If you open this one, we have more. Let's go down, let's scroll down for you to see. Any one of them you open, we have more, and at the end of the day it can be very overwhelming when you're working with more than one effect. So it will be better if we can just have a whole section of this software dedicated to effects. That's the reason why we need to dive into our effects interface. So let's go in there now. We are in our effects interface. As you can see, our effects are now here. I will bring this down. Yes, you can see that we have this whole section here dedicated to our effects. Now I can open them as much as I want. See how it is opening. You see how everything is opening. You can just open them, and this whole segment is dedicated to our effects. It is better than having all of this somewhere within our input group here. Before we go ahead, this was our project from before. Let's take it that we would like to add a logo on this video, maybe somewhere here. I will bring in Creative Unicorn's logo right now. A quick disclaimer: in order to reduce the length of these videos, the length of these lessons, I won't be repeating anything that has been discussed in our previous videos. So you are advised to watch all episodes in this series. I won't be explaining or showing how I do anything that has been discussed in the previous videos. So as you can see, we have our logo here. I'll bring the logo on top, and you can see it's on top here. Now, like I said, we want the logo to be somewhere here, and I showed you how to do this in our previous class. Let's take it that we have our logo up there. Sorry, let me mute this. Now, as you can see, we have our logo up there, and whatever I'm doing, the logo stays up there. If we want to add movement to this logo, such that it doesn't just stay up there like that, but there's some movement to it, let me show you how we can go about it. simply go to video effects, go to perspective, and we have basic 3D here. You can use so many other effects here, but for this lesson I'm making use of this particular effect, basic 3D. Drag this and drop it on the logo, and I want you to see what happens here. We have basic 3D here now. I will clicking Ctrl Z to bring us back to where we were. So let's come back here. You can see we have this highlight selected. I want you to look at this place. We have motion, we have opacity, we have time remapping, but we don't have any other thing here. Immediately when I drag basic 3D and drop it on this file, just look at what happened. Basic 3D is added. So any effect you drag from here and drop on any video file, that effect will be reflected here. For instance, if I click on this one now, you can see that it's not there because we didn't add that effect to this clip. We only added it to this logo. So when I click on this logo, you can see we have basic 3D, and you can just scroll down to see what we have there. Now I want you to look at this logo while I make some changes to numbers here, so you understand what happens. The first one, swirl. See what happens. Can you see as I increase the number, it keeps on rotating? Can you see that? If I reduce the number, it rotates the opposite direction. If I increase the number, it rotates the other direction. Can you see that? So now we can in time make this logo to keep on rotating. You are advised to register for our professional video editing certificate program that is going on right now. In that, we'll be diving deeper into the concept of keyframing and a lot of other things that you can do when it comes to effects and transition. But I'll just introduce keyframe here at the beginning of our logo. I can just add a keyframe. And let's play this video from beginning to end, and so you see what happens. Can you see that? We're playing the video and the logo keeps on rotating. Somewhere here now, I can just go to our generate lens flare. You see that? Now we have lightning here, which I believe some of you must have seen my lightning strike video. So I'm not going into this right now. Now you have lens flare, drag it, drop on top. Now immediately when this effect is added, like I told you guys, we have it here added, lens flare. It wasn't there before, but right now we have it. So if I come in here, I can move where the flare is. Can you see that? I can, I love Premiere Pro so much. It is so user-friendly and so easy to manipulate. Unlike so many other softwares where some presets have been made for your templates, you can't customize a lot of effects in so many softwares, but in Premiere Pro, you can change how everything works out. I can increase the brightness, I can reduce it, I can move it up and down. Do you see that? So for this video, I'm going to move it towards this end here, and go to the, come to this point where I want the effect to start. Move it to the, and then come here. I will click on this keyframe, click on this one to reduce the brightness to 0. And then I think I'll leave every other thing. Then just move somewhere here in the center of the effects, or where I want the effect to happen, or just go to the end. Okay, I'm thinking of something else now. Let's go to the end of this clip here, then go down to our effects here, the lens flare effect, and increase the brightness very high. You see that? and then also move it. You see that? All right, so like I said, we have so many other effects here that you just drag and drop and use our effect control. I taught you guys that this is where you can process any input file, either be it an input media or an input effect. To reduce the length of this video, I won't go around all the effects here. We'll be going more in depth in our full training, where I will explain how you can manipulate these things, put them all together to tell a compelling story. And we are going in depth in all this in our Pro Masterclass, so endeavor to be part of it. So let's dive into transitions. The most ancient and basic transition in video editing is the cut transition, and this is a very powerful transition. When your video moved from this video and moved to this video, what happened there is a transition from this video to this transition, and that transition is the cut transition, where you change from here to here without anything, like it's just instant. It cuts from one to another. Another transition that is popularly used is our dissolve or fade transition, where one of this video will gradually fade into the next video. And how do you do that in Premiere Pro? Just come here. Our fade transition is inside dissolve, video transitions, dissolve, open it, and you click on either additive dissolve, cross dissolve, deep to black, all of these, and we'll try some of them out. We won't be able to run through all of them here, but let me use the cross dissolve, drag it and just drop here, and you see, let's play it now, and you see that it doesn't just end, it fades into the other one. Let's do that again. You see that? You see that? All right, so let's try another one. Now you can just maybe click another one, drag and drop on this one, and it will replace it. Let's do that again. So you see, now you can see the name deep to black. So this one fades into black before revealing the next one. Can you see that? And just like our effects here, we can also process our transitions. Let's go deeper into that. For instance, we have this transition here. If you click on it, you see that our process here changes. Okay, before we were on this file, you see what we have. When you click on the transition, the properties here changes. You can see we have A and B. This A and B refers to the two videos that are involved in this transition. The first video being video A and the second video being video B. So let's click on that again. This are video A and this are video B. If we click on show actual sources, instead of A and B, we'll have video A here and video B. Now let us go deeper here. You can reduce the size of the transition, thereby making it shorter, or increase the size, thereby making it even longer. Can you see that? So let's now, I've made it longer than it was before. Let me even increase it a bit more. Now let's watch and see how the transition happens. You see how slow it dips into the black. Now let's go back into this place and reduce the size. Let's see how the transition works. You see how it happens so fast, deep to black fast, and increase here. Now I'll come in between this one and this one. I'll add another transition here. I'll go to immersive dissolve, where I used this particular transition in the video advert, the video ad, this one here. So I'll just drag this and drop in between and see what happens. Do you see that? You can also control it here with it. The parameters for this transition are different from the other one. Just take your time and go through as many transitions as possible Just play around with them and get used to them. They will help you in your video editing journey. So let's leave this, and we have other transitions here. Like we have the audio transition where you can dissolve from one audio sound, like from one sound to another one. Let me just bring in an audio here. All right, so we have our audio file here. I will just drag this and add here. I'll unmute this, and we have a cut transition between this audio and between this one, which is basic already. Let's see it. You hear that sound, and then we can just drag maybe a constant power here, put on it, and see how this sound fades into this sound. Let's listen to it now. Brought to you by Creative Unicorns. You see that? Now we can also increase the length of this, thereby making the transition even wider. Let's listen to it. On Premiere Pro, brought to you by Creative Unicorns. In this 5-episode series. Do you hear that? Just try them out. Like I say, we have audio transitions. We also have audio effects. So many effects here that you can add to your audio sound. We have volumetric presets. We have other presets here. So you can just try them out using the same process. Drag and drop on your timeline. And like always, if you have any questions, you can drop it in the comments. Finally, in this episode, we'll be diving into texts and titles. In order to achieve that, we'll turn our interface into caption interface. This was covered in episode 1. So we are in our caption interface where we have our essential graphics here. We have some templates here that will come with your installation of Adobe Premiere Pro, but we won't be making use of any of these templates right now. I'll show you how you can add text and titles. So to achieve that, let's click on Edit and New Layer. Now, before we do anything there, I want you to see where our playhead is. Anything we add will come. Okay, anything we add will come to that point where our playhead is. So before you add any title, make sure your playhead is at the point you want it to be. Do you understand? So what should we add now? Let's see, Team Crash Training on Premiere Pro, brought to you by Creative Unicorns. So let's say at this point where it says brought to you by Creative Unicorns, we want Creative Unicorns to just pop up on the screen. So let's go. So brought to you, Premiere Pro, brought to you by Creative. Just before Creative Unicorns starts here, I click on Edit and New Text. You see we have a new text here. You can just drag it. I'll put it in the center here and then double tap it. Do you understand that? Double tap it to edit the text. I'll type Creative Unicorns. You see that? Now our tools, as you get, our tools moved from this place to this point, and you know, Adobe Premiere Pro is just so well organized. Like I always say, at this point that will be working directly on our clip here. You see that our tools move to this point. They are no longer down here because we are no longer working directly here. We're working here, so you don't need to do something here, come down, click and go back. It is now up here. So you see our selection tool is here, and we have a text tool here that you can click on to edit your text at any time. I know you can't really see Creative Unicorn fully because of the light behind, and that's where we'll go deeper into the properties of our text file here. This Creative Unicorn we created here, you can see it here. Creative Unicorns is up here, and you can move the position of the text here, you see, and if you move it to a point you are not okay, and you can just click here to centralize it, click here to centralize it the more. Or if you want it to be aligned to the bottom, click here and it aligns to the bottom. If you want it to align to the bottom, to the left. After you must have tried all of these, if you're not okay with it and you still want it back in the center, it is simple. Click here and click here. it goes to the center. So now, like I said, this is not very visible. We can just scroll down and change our font face. So okay, I want to make it of this font. Now we have it here. I make sure I will align it to the center since we want it in the middle. So that anything I do, it will remain in the center. So once we have our text here, just click on this field to change the color of the text. Since we have a lot of white behind, I will change my color to yellow. This looks good, but then it's not very visible enough. Like, it's not as visible as it should get. So we can just add a stroke to it. You add a stroke to it. Let's change the color of the stroke to black and increase the size of the stroke. You can increase it as much as you want. In this case, I'll just increase it a little bit here, and we have Creative Unicorns there. So let's play the video, hear the sound. On Premiere Pro, brought to you by Creative Unicorns. You see that? On Premiere Pro, brought to you by Creative Unicorns. And Creative Unicorns come up. Now we can make this even more subtle than just appearing on the screen there. Now let's say somewhere here you can just cut, select this, delete it, and we have Creative Unicorn just right. You see it. So now I can decide to have this Creative Unicorns from the instead of it just being here, we go back to our effects interface so that we can add some transitions to this text. We are back in our effects interface, and I can just add some transitions to this text here. Push it to the end, and we have this. To you by Creative Unicorns. You see that? To you by Creative Unicorns. In this 5 episodes, with what you can see on the screen, I'm already introducing you to motion graphics, because this is what motion graphics is. When you add, this text is a graphics, and I'm adding motions to it. This is what we mean by motion graphics. I'm already introducing you to motion graphics. You can see this. We have our video. You see that? And then it's no longer looking so flat. We're having a lot of things happening here. We have our logo up here. We have audio transitions. We have video transitions. We have our text here, and the text having motions to it. A lot of things happening here. We have this light, this lens flare. We have another transition here, and we have so many things happening in this video file here. You see how interesting the whole lesson is going. With this, we've come to the end of the 3rd episode in this series. In the next episode, I'm so excited to let you know that I'll be handling color grading. So why don't you subscribe right now so that you don't miss out on the next episode and on subsequent series. Until next time, stay creative.